Hello everybody. So you guys wanted a video on my experience with the Disney College program, and my experience is particularly unique because I was part of the group that was terminated during the pandemic. So, we weren't necessarily like fired or terminated. We were terminated, but we were let go under forceful circumstances beyond their control. So now I first worked in parking for about like 1 or 2 weeks. It was really great. It really was. And I'm if you guys have any questions about the DCP, please feel free to comment them below if I don't cover them in this video. I am not one to sugarcoat my experience. I hated it every time I tried to research genuine YouTubers that wouldn't sugarcoat their experience. Thankfully, I knew some people that were in the DCP, so they gave me a real definite explanation, but I wish some people didn't sugarcoat it all the time. I really did love parking. My problem was that I am not a good driver. I don't feel comfortable operating like big trams. When you're in parking, your responsibility is to drive the trams when it's your rotation. And I drove it a few times. I just didn't feel comfortable. And the responsibilities of parking were just too much. They were just, You have so much weight on your shoulders when you are doing parking. It's just, I personally just couldn't have that weight over my shoulders. And in my personal belief, I think that you should have a license specifically for that vehicle, the tram. Because putting college kids in that is just a lot of pressure. But I'm also a shitty driver. So if they can do it, then I can't. After that, I transferred to Pecos Bill. And if you don't know what Pecos Bill is, it's a Mexican fast food restaurant. Why does this thing keep going in and out of focus? Ugh, I don't know how to work cameras. Anyways, I worked at Pecos Bill. It was really fun, honestly. I mean, it had its ups and downs, but it was a lot better than working in parking. And if you guys have any questions on what it's like working in the park versus outside of the park, I can definitely answer some of those questions too. Working in Pecos was really fun. I was there for about, I was only in the Disney College program for a month and a half. I was supposed to be there until August. Then the time came when the pandemic started getting worse and worse, but honestly, I really didn't know that. I was in La La Land, and I was happy about that, we didn't have a TV. You'd have to buy a TV, and none of us found it worth it because we can just watch whatever we want on our phones, and some of us brought our laptops, so we were thinking about investing in a cheap $100 TV, but thankfully we didn't because we were all sent home. So I love my roommates. I miss them so much. They were literally the best roommates I could have ever had. I was upset at first when I saw that I was rooming with 6 people, but honestly, they were the best roommates ever, and I miss them so much. They made my experience so much better because when you get along with your roommates, everything goes so smoothly. But yeah, COVID was strongly approaching, and it honestly hit all of us like a bunch of bricks. Most of us didn't watch the news because we didn't have access to it, and I only kept watching the weather. And then we were all like, yeah, I don't know, this COVID thing, it's probably not that bad. It's just not that bad. We're not gonna get let go. They might have us quarantined for a week or 2, and then we'll be back working. Psych. So what they did was, I was working when we were all notified that we're going home. They pulled us behind the kitchen, and they were telling us, all of our coworkers and I were held together, we're not going home. And then they told us, it's effective immediately. You have 5 days to pack your things and go back home. And we were all like, what? They did it in the nicest way, though. We were all crying. They were all like, it is a privilege to have worked with you. You were all so nice. And oh my gosh. They let us have the day off. Some places where you worked did not let you have the day off and made you work. If you wanted to stay and work, you could, but I didn't. I yeeted out of there. I was so emotionally distraught. I remember calling my mom crying. I was like, I don't want to go home. And I had no idea what to do. I was panicking. I had 5 days. I literally just settled down, and I was told to pack. What was super nice though is Disney decided to let us stay Disney decided to let us go to Hollywood Studios, which was not allowed until like a certain point of time. We weren't sure what time. Because, you know, like with Rise of the Resistance and like everything going on in Hollywood Studios, it was just too crowded, like extremely crowded, and we just weren't allowed to go. But they were thinking, you know what, let's just let all the CPs go, have their fun before they get sent home. So my roommates and I went to Hollywood Studios. We had a blast. Oh my god, Galaxy's Edge is seriously my favorite. Magic Kingdom used to always be my favorite, but honestly, Hollywood Studios. If you're going to Disney and you like, usually when people go to Disney, they pick a park to go to twice, do Hollywood Studios. If you're a Star Wars fan, you have to see it. It is a must-see experience. I miss it so much. Since I'm kind of enjoying talking about this and you guys seem pretty curious about it, I'm gonna stop it here with this video, but that's what it was like being let go during the pandemic. I had to pack really quick. Since, you know, I had like 5 days. But I'm very fortunate enough where I have my grandparents in Florida, and they came over, they got my stuff. I stayed with them until I could book a flight home. One of my roommates, she lived in Peru, and I didn't know their border situation at the time, if it was closed or not, but I'm honestly not sure what she did. She kind of came and like literally left. She didn't even spend a month. Oh, I remember coming out of the bus, like you take a bus to Disney University, and then you take a bus to where you live, unless you take a car, then you drive. But I remember seeing this crowd of, what is it called? Traditions. People that were supposed to go to tradition, that just came out of traditions, which is literally your welcome phase. Like traditions is the welcome, you're officially a cast member. I remember them all huddled up, sobbing, and I was just like, oh, I'm thankful enough that I had a month and a half experience. They literally didn't even get to go in the parks, and I'm pretty sure they weren't refunded, and it wasn't cheap. So to not make this video ridiculously long, I'm going to cut it at this, but I can get further into the reality of the Disney College program for anybody curious. I know it's indefinitely shut down for now until this pandemic clears, but I can share my insights on what it was like working in versus out of the park. You know, I think I'll do a video on that, because if I ever got accepted into like something outside of the park, I would want to know the perks of working in and out of the park. So I'll make a video on that, and I'm going to end this video. Bye guys.